Alright, so David Lee Roth recently made some comments about Wolfgang Van Halen. They're getting quite a bit of attention. There's quite a number of videos going viral about the topic right now, and I wanted to throw in my 2 cents. But before I tell you what I think about what David Lee Roth said about Wolfgang, let's listen to his words. Here's David Lee Roth.
This fucking kid, he's complaining the entire tour like I'm not paying enough attention to him on stage. Like Santa Claus coming down the chimney and popping out on Christmas is nobody paying attention. Shalom to the dome, homie. I'm giving him the best. Everything I've got in front of 20, 30,000 people at a clip. And he's complaining to everybody around me. The business manager, the security guy, the clothing lady.
Dave's not paying enough attention to me.
Alright, so he goes on to talk about how Wolfgang had people barred from Van Halen shows that turned out to be important members of the crew simply because he was trying to make Dave mad. And then he goes on to say a couple other things about Wolfgang. And I'm gonna tell you something else that he said and did in this video that's really interesting. But before I do, I'd like to remind you to like and subscribe to the channel. We upload new content basically every day, and we have a lot of interesting polls and conversations going over in the community section of the channel. Alright, so now back to the David Lee Roth comments. If you listen to the entire video that David Lee Roth put out called This Crazy Kid, it starts off with having an interview with Jesus, and Jesus saying, well, I didn't get this job just because of who my dad is. So the entire video is more or less an attack on Wolfgang Van Halen, and there's something that's conspicuously absent from Dave's attack on Wolfgang Van Halen. And what's missing is any mention at all of Wolfgang Van Halen as a musician. Something else that's missing from the comments is any meaningful criticism whatsoever, because the idea that Wolfgang felt like he wasn't getting enough attention from David Lee Roth on stage is of absolutely no consequence one way or the other. So what is all of this really about? Well, it's about the fact that there's no other way for David Lee Roth to get attention these days. He probably has a vault full of music that he's made with John 5 and other prominent musicians that is no longer topical or viable due to the way that the music industry now is. And similarly, there's no outlet for videos or movies like there used to be. So for someone who craves the spotlight like David Lee Roth has and always will, he's running out of ways to get attention. And so trashing Ed or Wolfgang or anyone else in the band, or Sammy Hagar for that matter, is just a way to drum up interest in himself as the cameras and the spotlights begin to fade away from his existence. Anyway, this is what I think, but what really matters is what you think. So if you have an idea about this or any other topic connected to classic or contemporary music, please drop it in the section below, and remember to like and subscribe. Thanks a lot.